one more episode today with Eduardo Serafini, UAI Soccer Academy, a soccer academy from Brazil, in Minas Gerais, Brazil. Thank you so much, Eduardo, for the opportunity to listen, to you, learn from you. I'm very curious to see and to learn about your academy. I used to work with women's soccer in Brazil. I know it's not easy. Now it's a little bit different, but I used to work in 2007, 2008, 2009. So different days, different ideas, perspectives, and now it's a little bit better. A lot of things to even improve, but it's much better now than 15, years ago. So thank you so much, Eduardo, for the opportunity for coming on. And please, I would like to start our conversation. Ask you can you please tell a little bit about you, your background, how you start this wonderful job, helping a lot of girls to succeed, to reach a better level in their lives, using soccer as a tool. So can you please tell us a little bit about your soccer academy and about you, please?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me. It is a pleasure to be here. I love talking about women's soccer. Everyone that knows me know that I actually talk a lot when it comes to women's soccer. So feel free to interrupt me whenever you need, because like I said, when it comes to women's soccer, I talk nonstop. So I've been working with women's soccer for the past 24 years. I went to the US where I got my degrees. I have a bachelor's in physical education and sports management from Union College, which is a school in Kentucky. And then I got my master's from Ohio U in coaching education. And then I came back to Brazil in 2002. And since then, I've been working with women's soccer. First at the American School of Belo Horizonte. I was the athletic director and head soccer coach there for around 20 years. We created the UAI Soccer Academy that you mentioned back in 2010. So it has 16 years of existence now. I also coached some club teams down here in Brazil. In 2019, I coached the U20s of America Futebol Clube. In 2021, I coached the U18s of Clube Atlético Mineiro. And 22 and 23, I coached the U15s, U17s, and U20s of Clube Atlético Mineiro. In 24, the U17s of Sport Clube Bahia, which is a part of the City Group, and then last year in 2025, I coached the U17s of Cruzeiro Sport Clube. So I've been around the game for quite some time. I have done a little bit of everything in terms of high school, club, and academy soccer. And my main thing is the UAI Soccer Academy, and we can talk a little bit more about it in details. But yeah, I've been around the game for quite some time, and I was here in 7, 8, 9 when you were working with women's soccer down here in Brazil. So I know that it has changed a bit.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Eduardo. And your profile at LinkedIn is very active. I saw you. That's you have a lot of bad things in the internet, but you have a lot of good things in the internet. And because of the internet, I saw you. I saw your job. I saw what you have been doing in terms of women's soccer and development, youth development, and I could see that you have been growing, improving, enhancing, trying to get better. And what would you how can I ask that? How would you tell me, or what can you tell me in terms of targets, in terms of purpose for your academy today? When you look behind like 10 years, you look your academy today and your academy in 5 years from now, I'm trying to figure out a line of growth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like progression. So, what can you tell us in terms of purpose? You know, for you, you have been doing a good job. I can see that on your profile, LinkedIn. But how can you tell a little bit about your next, you know, let's say 5 years in terms of purpose, your targets, please?
So our main purpose is to prepare and help kids to get scholarships to study and play college soccer in the U.S. The Y Soccer Academy was created to enable kids to do it. We have been doing a very good job, as you mentioned. So just as an example, this semester alone, we got 35 players playing for 23 different universities in 13 different states in the U.S. I mean, every single league and division of the U.S., except for Division 3, because we know the NCAA Division 3 does not offer athletic scholarships, but all the other leagues and divisions, we have players studying and playing in universities in these leagues. So we've been doing a very good job, thankfully, and it has been growing. So more people have been searching for ways to go to the U.S. and study and play college soccer, and the Y Soccer Academy has been the way to do it. And we have been very successful doing it because, first of all, we know what it takes to succeed. I was a college athlete in the U.S. myself, so I know what it takes. So we know how to prepare these kids to do it. We also know how to find their best fit, which is not an easy task. You know, there are companies that do a similar job, but they don't quite understand the game there. So they're not able to find the best fit for the kids. Not every kid will play for a top P4 Division I program. Not every kid wants to play for a mid-major program and never have a chance to win a championship. So we know how to find their best fit. And we use a very good methodology at the Y to prepare the kids to do well in the States, which is something that I learned with my Premier license, Advanced National, and then Premier license that I got from the United Soccer Coaches in the U.S. So we have been doing a very good job. And the tendency is that we keep doing that job and helping even more athletes because the interest has growing. Like we have more kids looking for us, asking us for our help from all over Brazil. At first, we were preparing and helping kids specifically in Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais. But now it's growing. We got kids from Rio Grande do Sul. We got kids from Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, Salvador, Bahia, Distrito Federal. We got kids from all over that have been asking the Y Soccer Academy to help them go into the U.S., and we have been very successful doing it, so much so that we have the 35 that I mentioned, and next semester we're reaching 442. So.
Okay, I was thinking about, my question now is because, how can I tell you? Sometimes, companies, they go so much in a right direction that sometimes they go further than they could imagine. You know what I mean? Like you start your job in Minas Gerais, Brazil, and now from a state, let's say a state company or a state academy, you became a national academy because you have people from north, south. So all over the place, people are traveling like 5-10 hours to go to you. I have a question for you. Do you have in mind, or did you have before some girl coming from, I don't know, Argentina, Chile, or maybe Africa or a different country? Did you have an experience like that, or do you have in mind to prepare something? Because I believe something like this is going to happen to you, in a, maybe 1-2 years if you keep your level of growth.
Yeah, I don't know if the kids will come here to practice with us and prepare, but we have helped kids from other countries as well. So I got a kid from Portugal that looked for us to help her, and we helped her finding a better fit. She was already playing college soccer in the U.S., and she asked for our help finding her a better fit, and we did it. And so much so that last year she was national champions with Florida Tech in NCAA Division II. So it's a kid from Portugal. We also helped a kid that was born in the U.S., Brazilian mother, born in the U.S. We also helped her finding a better fit. So we have helped kids from other countries, but they won't come to us and prepare with us. They are more than welcome to do it. Actually, these kids have visited us and that they have stayed here with us just to get to know the Y Soccer Academy, but they haven't practiced with us. But we've helped kids from other countries. So it is in the future of the Y Soccer Academy to keep helping these kids from other countries, not only necessarily Brazil, and from other states, not only necessarily Minas Gerais and Belo Horizonte. So it's a thing. It's happening and will keep growing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, but sometimes the connections are so clear. And yeah, that's good. Very good. Eduardo, I want to go for a different topic now. I want to talk about the Brazilian women's soccer today. And, you are, let's say 20 years. You have been working with women's soccer in Brazil for at least 20 years. So it's a big window of time. And how do you see women's soccer today, especially, you are a professional coach that prepare players in terms of, scholarship, but not only this, I'm talking about opportunities inside Brazil, like not now, but let's say the last 5 years, the Brazilian Women's League is a little bit better. They have a big room for improvement. They have to improve, but it's getting better. And how do you see the next year around the corner? You have a World Cup in Brazil, 2027. How do you see the women's soccer in Brazil if you could compare with 10 years ago and today? You see a little bit of improvement, you see a huge improvement. What is your opinion about the women's soccer today in Brazil?
Well, when we talk especially about youth soccer in Brazil, and I think that the development of the sport depends on the youth development. It's getting better for sure. There's no doubt about it. Slowly getting better, different than a lot of people think here. It's slowly getting better. But it is easy to get better when you had nothing, right? So let's talk about youth soccer 10 years ago. Like you said, you worked with it, so you know well. The very first championship organized by the Brazilian Confederation for youth, U16 and U18, was in 2019. We're talking less than 10 years ago. How many years the U.S., where you live, has had youth soccer organized in a very good way? So it is getting better, but there is a very, very long way to go still. There is a lot of things that need to change. The thing that I think needs to change the most, people need to understand that it is a long-term process. The programs, the projects, whatever you want to call them, must be long-term. There are a lot of teams here in Brazil, club teams, that do temporary projects, programs. They put together temporary teams just to participate in one tournament or championship and abide by the CONMEBOL, CBF licensing rule. So this is not how the sport will develop. The sport will develop with long-term projects, with long-term programs. Youth development depends on a lot of time to produce the right players, to help the players grow, to help the players develop. And I think, although it is getting better, for sure, you were a witness of it more than 10 years ago, and you know how things are going now, but still a very, very long way to go.
Okay, perfect. You said about, long term. wanna share with you here. These, let's see if it's gonna. Can you see that in your screen?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right. I want to share with you these, and they are saying that Brazilian needs a strategy, and you said about long-term development, and how can I ask this? How do you see this development right now, just 1 year before the World Cup? And besides soccer coach, you are kind of CEO of your academy. So do you think, like my opinion, they should be doing something at least the last 10 years, focus on the World Cup, like China did with when they had Olympics? So what is your opinion with this, let's say, gap that they didn't, they wait for the last minute before the World Cup, and now I see in Brazil, have this program, we have this opportunity, we have this, we have that, 1 year before the World Cup. So what is your opinion in terms of things that could be done, as you said, long term, but if you go backwards, like 10 years ago at least, how can you see, or what do you see in terms of this gap?
So I got to be honest with you. I'm skeptical. I am skeptical. I think when we think about the 2014 Men's World Cup and everything they did in preparation for it, and then we see everything that is going on now, I think it'll get a bit better until the World Cup. I think they'll try to do things until the World Cup to improve the game a bit, to develop the game a bit. But I'm very skeptical of what will be in the long term. To be honest with you, I think we'll stagnate or even decline after the World Cup. I think the World Cup is giving it a boost to improve, and everybody's counting on it. But I don't see the same preparation and the same intensity of things that I've seen for the Men's World Cup back in 2014. So to be honest with you, I think it is something cultural. I think Brazil, as many other South American Latin countries, Brazil has a cultural prejudice against the sport. And as we know, something that is cultural is very hard to break through. We have people here that command the game, they are the leaders of the game, like club team presidents or club team owners with the SAF now, that they openly dislike the game of soccer, of women's soccer. And they say it. It's not something that they hide. They say that they don't like. And not only them, we got people on the press, we got professionals of the game that openly badmouth the game, the women's soccer, I mean. So I think it is hard to break through that cultural prejudice, and it will take a very long time to do it. So, like I said, I am skeptical in terms of its development after the World Cup. I think they will do everything they can to improve the game, leading towards the World Cup in 2027. And after that, I truly hope for the best, but I am skeptical. I don't know. I don't want to say anything more because I don't want to jinx it. So I'm just going to say that I hope it gets better, and I hope it keeps getting better after the World Cup and does not stagnate or decline.
Yeah, you said that, and I'm listening to you, and I just remember yesterday I was reading something about Caitlin Clark. She's now a professional, basketball player. Is a big star now here. And I was reading about, because of her, or coincidence, after she debuted in the WNBA, the numbers are growing up, like, you know, financial, the rate, TV rates, everything is growing. And I saw about Caitlin Clark, I saw in terms of development and numbers, Serena Williams, if I don't make a mistake, her name, you know, the tennis player. And in Brazil, you have Marta that is playing in the United States. She's not playing in Brazil. So do you think, you know, like when Falcão retired from futsal, usually when these big names, when they leave the scene, the country or the league, you know, people say like, now what? You need, you know, another name. Like, do you believe, you know, we have some name to, like the new Marta is coming? Do you believe, or do you know some name that we can say, oh, this is a good name, maybe in a couple of years we can have a Caitlin Clark, you know, in Brazil, the same way it's happening now? Because WNBA, if you look at the numbers, they were terrible before her, and now it's completely different. Even people that doesn't like her for any reason, the numbers are completely different because of her. Do you see anything like this in Brazil?
So listen, I think Brazil has a group of very talented players, that's for sure. But there will never, ever be another Marta. Marta is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. It's like saying that eventually in men's soccer, we're going to have another Pelé. We won't. And we won't have another Marta. There's no question about it. We will have very good players at a very high level, but not another Marta. So people should forget about it. She is the GOAT, greatest of all time, including every single player that has played the game before. So we shouldn't focus too much on that. We should value everything Marta has done for the game, and to be honest, even worship her, because she's the greatest, in my opinion. But I do think Brazil has a group of talented players. I like a lot of talent, actually. Players that have been doing well. You got players doing very well in the NWSL there in the U.S., Brazilian players. I could name a few, but I won't risk forgetting anyone. But, you know, there are some good players playing there, some good players playing at the WSL in England. So we have very talented players. In the present, we will have them in the future, but not another Marta. But these players can carry on what she's done for the game. They can carry on in a different level, but they can carry on like men's soccer did for Pelé. Pelé was there, and then we had a lot of very good players carrying on the game for Brazil on his behalf. Let the players do the same for the greatest Marta now.
Okay, perfect. You said about the league in England. I have a question for you about the league. You know, we have the best leagues in the world. Some people say in England is the number one. Some people say United States has the number one league. But anyway, the top five, you have England, you have United States, and Brazil, unfortunately, is not there. I look at some, you know, I did some research, and sometimes Brazil is number 10, sometimes number 11. So in terms of a league in Brazil, with your background, your experience, you know, you have been doing this for so many years. Do you believe, or do you think we should try do the women's league, stay away from, you know, like, let's say some people now are trying to do a Brazilian league for the men's soccer. You know, in Brazil, we have two leagues that they are trying to now make one league. And do you believe that's the way for the women's soccer? Try to, you know, create their own league like they have in England, like they have here in the United States? What's your opinion about it with your experience you have?
We know that worldwide leagues are way better than competitions organized by associations and confederations. We have many, many, many examples to prove that. However, I don't think it is cultural to Brazil. I think it wouldn't work. Like you mentioned, the men have been trying to do it for quite some time, and they still struggle to put together a single league. And the men's soccer game here in Brazil is way more traditional than the women's soccer game. So I don't see a league in the future of women's soccer. And to be honest with you, I think CBF does a good job, a decent job, trying to grow the game here. They have been organizing tournaments that have more games to play, more teams participating, whether it is in the professional level or youth level. They are growing the number of participants. They are improving the format of the tournament. So I think they're doing a good job. I think that the problem in Brazil is the club teams. I think the club teams are the ones not helping it to grow. It's not CBF. It's not the Brazilian Soccer Confederation. It is the club team. So I don't think the league would solve the problem, because you still have the club teams hindering the progress of the game. You know, the thing is, the club teams here in Brazil, they are forced to have women's soccer by law. To abide by the licensing law of CBF and CONMEBOL, they must have a women's team. And we know in every field of work, when you're forced to do something, you don't do it well. You do it just to do it. I think that's the problem. Club teams being forced to do it. And again, having a league with the same club teams being forced to do it would be the same problem.
Yeah, as you said, they have been forcing clubs to create a women's team. And, I told this before with another conversation with another guy. And I don't know if you know that, but in the 70s, they started to sell coffee in Japan in 70s. But the numbers were terrible. They couldn't sell. And then what they start to do? They start to sell candies with a coffee flavor for kids. So they create a culture of coffee. So 30 years later, the numbers start to be amazing. And today, Japan drink coffee like United States, like Brazil, whatever. There's no problem with that. But they created a culture in Japan, because in 70s they couldn't sell coffee. They would fail if they insist to sell coffee there. So if you bring this to soccer, I believe, that's my opinion. I'd like to listen to you from your opinion. I believe they should first in Brazil go straight to the kids. Straight to the kids, because the kids are the raw material. The kids are the raw material. And once you start to have that culture, kids play, little girls play soccer. Little girls will become girls, and they will play soccer, and they will become moms. If they don't become a soccer player, they will consume soccer. You know what I mean? So I don't see this in Brazil. I don't see people talking about it. I don't see any program about it. I don't see any strategy about it. Like, if they really want to do something for the women's soccer, why nobody say anything about the raw material? And let's create a 10, 15 years strategy and start to change it. So as you said, any company, any business, doesn't matter how much you love it, you need a financial feedback. You know what I mean? You need some financial situation that tells you, that's good, keep doing that. So nowadays, we are 2026. I don't see, maybe Corinthians a little bit, but I don't see, in general, the Brazilian women's club in Brazil, I don't see they having these profits, having this financial feedback. And if you don't have financial feedback, it's going to be difficult. If you look UFC, if you do a research for UFC, everything was about finance. When they start 20 years ago and now, everything's about finance. And I think if nothing changes, in 10 years, we're going to choke again, and it's going to be the same situation. You have to have a women's soccer team. You have to have. You know what I mean? So what is your opinion about it?
I think you're spot on. I think you're 100% right. We need to cultivate the passion for the sport at an early age. If we don't do that, like I said, in the long term, we'll be in the same situation as we are now. If you do not have a strategy, a long-term strategy to cultivate the passion, to get people to love the sport, to want to help the sport, whether it is financially or simply by getting involved and consuming it, things won't change. I think there's not much more to say than you already have said. We need to reach these young kids. So much so that at the UAI Soccer Academy, we have the group that we prepare to get scholarships to study and play in the U.S., but we also have a very young group, ages 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, that our focus is to simply cultivate the passion for the sport. We do it recreationally. We just let them play. They have fun playing. So these young girls that you mentioned will become the players of the future, and then becomes mom of players in the future, and make it go for a very long way. So like I said, you were spot on. Not much more to say. Cultivate the passion at a young age and hope they will grow with them.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Eduardo. And our time is almost done, and I would like to ask you a final question. Let's say, you are the CEO of Brazilian soccer. Let's say you become they create something, they change something, and now you are the CEO of the Brazilian women's soccer. And I would like to know, what would you do, like 3 actions that we believe would be very positive and help the game, help the girls, help the environment, help the culture, and in terms of youth development, what, with your experience, your expertise, what would you do, or what you believe should be done in terms of 2 or 3 actions that you believe is going to make a huge difference?
Well, the first one is what we have been talking about. It not mandatory. It's not mandatory. You do it if you want to do it. To be honest with you, I think women's soccer would develop more if it was done by social clubs in Brazil, not soccer clubs, social clubs like EC Pinheiro in São Paulo, Minas Tênis Clube in Minas Gerais, just like specialized sports are done, like futsal, basketball, volleyball, by people that truly want to do it and do it well. Don't force soccer clubs to do it. This will backfire. Let the social clubs do it. People that have a true interest in letting the sport grow. And they know how to do it because they do all the other sports that are in existence in Brazil and are not soccer, like the ones I mentioned. So that would be the first one. Not mandatory. You're a soccer club, you want to do it, but you're not forced to do it. And then it comes the second one. So if you decide to do it well. Let's use Title IX from college athletics in the US. Whatever you're offering to the boys, offer to the girls. So if you're a soccer club and you decide to do it, you better do it right. So facilities, supporting staff, the things that you offer to the boys, you have to offer to the girls. We don't need a constant reminder of what they have to go through in society already. So if you're going to do it well and offer them the same thing you offer to the boys. I guarantee you that they will develop just as much, and they will give back to you what you're doing for them. And the third thing is more of a coaching perspective. And this is a bit controversial. I don't think that youth head coaches could be someone that never played the game. If you're going to coach youth soccer, you better have played the game. How are you going to teach a skill, a fundamental of the game? How are you going to tell them what to do in a specific situation if you haven't done it before? So I would prohibit anyone that hasn't played the game to coach or be a head coach of youth soccer. Those physical education major students that want to get into the business, they can be assistant coaches. They don't need to lead the charge. Let someone that knows how to do it, do it. Because in order to become a top level player, you need technical development. You need to master the skills of the game. And how can you teach someone to master it if you have never done it? If you don't know how to hit a ball, if you don't know how to trap a ball, and you're trying to teach a kid to do it without being able to do it, doesn't make sense in my mind. So these will be the three things that I would do as the women's soccer CEO of any company, or in Brazil, for instance.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. All right. Thank you. And, before you wrap up, I don't want to abuse, but I just came into my mind. We have in Germany now, the first time in history, a woman that is going to be in charge of the men's, team. What is the name? Berlin Union, or something like this, and the name of the team. But it's a first division. It's a Bundesliga. Is a big club. You don't play first league, first division in Germany if you're not a big club. So she's making history, right? And in charge during the practice, now in charge in the game. If I don't make a mistake, they have 5 games or 4 games left. She must to win at least twice, because they are very close to relegation. And so your background, your experience, just want to listen to your opinion. Do you see anything like this happening in Brazil? Or maybe in the next years, or do you believe it's going to be far? We are far from that. What is your opinion about this? You should transfer that to Brazil.
Well, I'm all for it. Brazil has a cultural prejudice against it, but I'm all for it. I've met some great coaches, like female coaches, some great ones. I have had the chance to work alongside them. So I know for a fact that there are female coaches that can coach men's team, without a doubt. But I don't know if this is going to happen in Brazil because of the cultural prejudice that we mentioned before. But I don't see why not. Like, they are capable of doing it, might as well do it. I don't think gender should be the problem. Quality, yes. The ability of that coach to coach a team, that should be your requirement to decide whether or not you're going to hire a coach, not the gender. Either way, because there has been talks about women's team being coached by female coaches only. I'm okay with that if that's what CBF and FIFA wants to do it. But I don't think gender should be the main requirement to hire a coach in either scenario. So I don't know if it is going to happen because of the cultural prejudice. I'm all for it. Like I said, I've met some great female coaches that I would love to see coaching my team, for instance.
Yeah, I'm a former military guy in Brazil. I used to live in Três Corações, Minas Gerais, with the Sergeant Academy. We call in Brazil ESA. So, in the military, women, they are leaders, If you go for a big company, if you go for Petrobras, if you go for, you have women's, and they are leaders. You know, if you have female leadership in every field. So my opinion, I hope, you know, one day soccer will be like the other companies or the other sports or the other business. Like if you have the qualification, if you have the certification, if you are good to lead, you lead. Doesn't matter if a man with girls or girls, men with women or women with men. You know, like I like this example. We have now women pilots of jets that cost billions of dollars. You know, it's so I don't see any problem with that. But in soccer, sometimes things are a little bit slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree 100% with you. And
yeah,
I hope the ones that actually control the game can one day think like us and give
yeah,
them the chance because they are very, very capable. Like I
yeah,
mentioned, I've learned a lot from female coaches, and I use a lot of the things that I've learned with them, and they are capable of doing. That's for sure. That's 100% for sure. It's just about these people that control the game to understand that and go past the cultural prejudice. Forget about it. Do what is best for the game, regardless if it is the men's of the women's. The women's game, the men's game, they deserve the best. So just do it. Just help them do it.
Okay, Eduardo, thank you so much. You know, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. I want to thank you for, you know, accepting my invitation. You know, it's a, you know, social media opportunity. Like you are in Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais, I'm in the United States. I never saw you before, never saw me before. And then because of soccer, you know, we contact in social media and then, you know, have the opportunity to have a very nice conversation. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And, you know, I wish you a very good day. And thank you so much. I appreciate that.
It was my pleasure, Hugo, for sure. I appreciate the invitation. Like I told you before, I love talking about women's soccer. So having the chance to do it once again was great. So I appreciate the invitation. And I hope we can stay connected and help the game to develop down here in Brazil
Yeah.
and there in the US. So whenever you need me for anything, please just let me know. And I'll be glad to share ideas with you so we can help the game. All right.
All right. Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you so much. Have a
It
good day,
was a
okay?
pleasure. It was a pleasure.